Okay, so in the file, which I will send out a link to just shortly, there is a tool that is called Lighting Fixture Schedule with Wattages. If we open that up, so I'll just show you a typical floor first. Let's do first floor. Got some P1s here, which are these linear sort of, it's the focal point trace as it happens, sort of a perimeter wall wash. And then we've got some downlights, the type P3. We've got a vanity, which is now hanging out in the middle of the wall because this is a new background, which is P4. So, so a mix of kind of linear fixtures and downlights. So if I go to the lighting fixture schedule, you can see the P1, which is the linear fixture, and the P1A, which is a variant. They're reporting their fixture length. Then there's a calculation field, which works out what the wattage is. For P3s, you can see its report length as 0, and so as a result, it knows to just take the wattage from, not to multiply the wattage by the length. And this is next, so what you can do, for example, for this P3, if we change this to a 36 watt downlight, I can change it. Oh, sorry, it's over here in this field. In this field, the trace is 6 watts per linear foot, but we want to replace it with a 11 watt per linear foot. That updates the wattage for that type. The wattage over here changes. And if we go down to the bottom, the total wattage for the building changes. So it is live. You can change it. So the way that works, yeah?
Is that parameter with the calc wattage linear going to be set in our fixture family?
Exactly.
Is that set there now for linear?
It relies on, for this project, I have gone in and added it to our existing fixture type, which really less than ideal way of doing it for a production model because, you know, then the linear fixtures, once I reloaded them, all reset to their default length, and I had to go in and realign everything. And so fortunately for this, it was just such a simple project that it, you know, wasn't that big of a deal. But yeah, so.
But if we add that parameter to the families before you start, so for
exactly, that's the way you're going to want to do it.
Okay.
Let me go ahead and I will. How do I edit the fields again? Oh wait, yeah. Oops. So then we'll go into field here. Okay, so the there's this linear is I guess what I called it. So if I open, no, I don't want to delete it. I want to edit it. So that has a conditional statement in it. So it's this if statement. So if fixture length equals 0, i.e. if the fixture is not a linear fixture, then take the wattage. And you know, when you do calculations with things in Revit that have units, you have to divide out the units, or you get this mismatched units sort of error message. So that's why it's wattage. It's pulling in the wattage parameter and it's dividing it by 1 watt to get rid of the wattage unit. So it's a dimensionless quantity. So then you see you've got this comma here. So then everything after the comma is the else, i.e. if it did not report its wattage 0, then take the wattage field, divide 1 watt to get rid of the wattage unit, and multiply it times the fixture length unit, and then that by 1 foot to, again, get rid of the 1 foot unit.
Literally cut and paste that and I am it too, someone. Just saying.
I don't let me expand this window. Let me go ahead and so I will just dump this. I'm going to go into the chat.
Thanks. That's a number right there.
say that again?
That whole.
Oh, sure. Back to, there's always this like.
Oh, go to the top of the screen, and it will pop down.
In my case, it's the bottom of the screen that pops up because I've got the taskbar on the top. But how do I get back to? Like there's. So if I do that, then it goes to. I guess the host.
You select everybody. Send to.
There we go. All right. So it's kind of the formula. We're going to kind of, this presentation, we're going to kind of present it in backwards format. I'm going to give you the overview, and then we're going to kind of go into the nuts and bolts. So let's talk about where it's getting these quantities from. So the wattage here, you can see that's the quantity that gets pulled in to multiply by either field, and then that gets multiplied by the calc wattage linear, by the length parameter. So if we were to go into one of our fixture families, I'm going to go into floor plans. So this fixture length, this 21-foot whatever, is, let's see if I remember how to do this. Then I need to go into family category and parameters. That seems right. No.
I think below it. I was looking for that.
Yep. Okay, so then this fixture length is the key thing here is that this is a shared parameter. The family-based parameter, it will not be able to report into a schedule. And so you have to make it into a shared parameter. So I'm going to go in here to modify and kind of show you that. So you can see it's selected as a shared parameter, but that does allow you to set it as an instance. This reporting parameter checkbox, I don't know what's up with that. Every time I tried to mess with that, it gave me errors. So so I have set up a parameter called fixture length right here, which it is, parameter is the length. Support its units in feet and inches. So that's where it's getting it from, and you can see I've set it equal. The formula is, assigned it to this dimension here, because you take a dimension and you can assign a parameter to it. It's taken me so long to put together this write-up is that I kind of forgot how I did this.
You can also, Max, do you see the green underneath the tabs? Do you see, it says little. If you go up, down, right there, you can change it.
Saying like in the edit type here? No.
The little green tab.
Yes,
right there.
yes, that's right. Yep, that's the key point on this. So you select, so like if I was going to put in a dimension here, you select that dimension, you say add parameter, and you go into, you set it to a shared parameter, then you select your shared parameter that you want to use. Okay, that's the case where it's a linear fixture. So let's look at fixture which is not linear. So case case, I've added you can see I've added the length parameter, which may be called something other than fixture length. The deal with parameters is that once you set the name, you can't ever change the name. So give that more thought than I did. And you can see that I have just set it equal to 0. So that way, that statement, that conditional statement, will see 0 and just report it the straight wattage without multiplying it, trying to multiply it by the length. Kind of a little bit of a hack, but it works. So that's how the reporting works. Any questions?
No.
Problem. Yeah, one other thing that I should mention, there is kind of along with this method, the way that a shared parameter file or a shared parameter works is that it exists in a text file, lives in the same folder as your Revit files. I'll go pull this over so that everybody can see it. Parameter file.txt. Revit automatically creates this, and if you open it up, it will open Excel for some reason. So I think this fixture quantity was like my first try at this, and now it doesn't do anything. So, but the thing about shared parameter files is that like I guess you can't delete them or rename them. They just sort of, I guess because they are in this file, they sort of exist. And even if you like delete and then recreate a parameter with the same name, it won't like work. So, so I think just more if you're going to set this up to name things the way that you really want to name them forever. This file, I have the space schedule with square footage with allowed wattage per square foot. So, you know, you can see it's I set up with the fields of the level. It's pulling in the name of the space. It's pulling in the space number and the square foot. And you can manually change this allowed watts per square foot. So for this, we're under LEED 2009. So it's ASHRAE 90.1, 2007 are the allowed watts per square foot that we're operating under. Since it's the don't have to do TEL 24 if they don't want to. So again, though, it's live. You can, for example, for this corridor, if the range and corridors you're only allowed 0.4 watts per square foot, you can just go in there and change it. And then for this, it's a very simple formula. You just the allowed, why that's called allowed square foot. I don't know why that's interesting. Okay, so the formula is you've got area. It's divided by one square because again you have to remove the units or I'll throw an error, and then it's the allowed watts, which also had to divide by square foot. Maybe because of the parameter, I'm not sure why I had to do it that way. So let me go ahead and copy and paste this formula into the chat.
I ask, previous schedule, was that set up by the architect? The architect had the spaces set up, or did you set up the spaces?
So that's a good segue. So where these spaces are coming from, I first tried to do this with the actual rooms. Yep. And that didn't work because they are in the referenced file and not in this file. There apparently isn't. I could think that like the next version of Revit, you'll be able to reference in like the rooms, because I mean it seems like a lot of people are asking why they can't do this. But for now, and this is I think kind of a holdover feature from Revit MEP when it was a separate product. For now, you have to add your own spaces. So the way that works is probably some of you know how to do this is your space, and then you can set the number and the name manually. And so you just set the number and the name equal to the that exist in the architectural, or in my case, because I was really interested in getting this to work, I just titled them by the space type so that it was easy to kind of plug in the per square foot. So the thing about this is obviously it's only as good as your architectural model. So for example, in this case, you can see as I kind of highlight over it, it's picking up all of this other restroom, and this, I don't know what's going on here. I don't know why this building would have such space restrooms compared to every other building in the, like this. FYI, this is again a new background, the first time I'm seeing it, and that's why we've got kind of fixtures stuck in the middle of walls. So I'm guessing that or this wall went all the way through, and in this model it doesn't. And now it's telling me that I've got all of this extra space, which I don't actually have, or I think maybe this is going on with that. Showers. They're showers. That's what's going on with that. That actually is in our scope. So that's kind of the place where this falls down is if they don't have the spaces set up correctly, the room bounding set up correctly, will fail. The other key point that has to be in place is the link. You have to select this room bounding checkbox, or it doesn't work.
If I remember correctly, you can choose whether it measures wall or middle of wall.
That sounds right.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and add one. Let's see. So then we're going to go into area? No. That's how you would set your, it's under Analyze. Yeah, it's under Analyze. And then you go into Space, maybe. As you can see, it's like once. We're learning together. Okay, so you go and Analyze, you select Space. It will kind of, what it must be doing is don't think that it's referencing the rooms as set up in the architectural model. I think it's figuring it out independently by like casting rays out and finding where the walls are. So, I kind of think in the next version of Revit, this is going to be like, this will go away and you'll be able to just directly pull in the room information and work with that directly. Added that, that's space 31. We'll go to this schedule, and there's my quarter that was deleted. I don't know if I can. This one? Yes, let's do that. So I'll delete. And there's my new one, quarter 31. It's reporting as 857 square feet, and I'm going to per square foot and Where'd it go? Yeah, per square foot, and my allowed wattage is 429 watts. So that's that. Any questions?
No? Cool.
Yeah.
My question is, have you combined these two together? So if you allowed watts and you know what your watts are.
See, this is pretty much like
with the fixtures, I guess.
There's a way to do that because spaces exist within this file. You could have the fixtures report what space they're in. So here's my.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So I did get to do this. So it is reporting. It kind of gives you a handy thing. You can see, like, I've got a couple pictures here that aren't reporting the turn space, so they're probably floating within a wall somewhere.
That's handy.
Yeah.
Is there a way to set up these schedules to kind of have them like in our template rather than having to set it up every single time?
Yeah, that would be the ideal way to do it.
Okay, great.
Yeah, we take his schedule right now and bring it in if we want.
Absolutely.
This one is this one can be applied much more easily to existing projects because it doesn't rely on a parameter within the fixture or anything. It's all within the file.
Okay, great.
So, yeah, I've got about 20 minutes on this upload because the Revit files, they're, huge. But as soon as I've got it, I will set out the link.
Thanks for doing this. I think it will be very helpful and fruitful going forward.
Yeah. Good.
So, and I will say you will be missed. So that's not
thanks.
Well.
Hey, you know what? While I've got you, let me ask a Revit question.
Sure.
I'm going to open. So this is what I noticed about building one. There's a mismatch between where fixtures are placed in 2D and placed in 3D. So let's say we'll go into, we don't have any lighting on the third floor, so I'm going to go into the second floor here. And so it's kind of the same design, right? We've got the P1 linear fixtures that sort of wrap the center area, and then after that it's sort of downlights in the wings, downlights in the restrooms. Now I'm going to go into my 3D view. And just thinking. Oh, on my new laptop, I've got a solid-state drive, and Revit runs so much better.
Mike, did you hear?
Yes, it's have.
Loud and clear.
I'm going to go ahead and unload this because it makes it easier to see. So fixtures then here in 3D are they're linear, maybe 2-3 feet off. The 3D is 3 feet away from the 2D symbol. Any of that's going on?
In which direction? Is it because they're overlapping?
Can you orbit?
I do see what you're saying. Curious if you go to edit. It's because those two fixtures shouldn't be biting.
Oh.
I see what you're saying. I'm wondering if you go to edit family. I'm wondering if the
dimensions
2D
are not
is
placed
off.
equal.
Yeah, from the D.
That's good. So there's redundant equal, so I'm going to go ahead and delete one.
Also, what is that associated to? Is it a T? Is it the extrusion?
This looks like it. Okay, so basically the way that
Vistra
we're
has a couple of things on it, and do you see how some of them are lines and then also an extrusion? They're not tied together properly.
but so this that I'm looking at is a 2 representation then item,
Yep.
Go to
and that's probably
like the perspective views. You can
yeah.
click on just the housing itself and see, like, click on that and then hide that and see if you're seeing any 2D after
Right.
that.
And it doesn't have any. You're seeing it doesn't have any of the parameters associated with it.
Got it. Oh, that so mystery solved.
So I think we need to tie those entities together so they can shrink together.
Oh, it could have been something that I broke while I was messing with these. So
Not
you know.
necessarily. We've definitely found volunteer things to fix.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, that explains that. Okay. Well, that's what I got.
All right.
Sounds good. Well, thank you so much. This is good.
Pretty good stuff.
Okay. Well,
Thanks.
take care, guys.
Thanks, Max.
Yep.
Bon voyage.
Great.
Okay. Bye.